Welcome to Secret of the Zodiac, where we unravel the mysteries written in the stars and decode the cosmic blueprint of each zodiac sign. The celestial bodies have been guiding human understanding for millennia, and today, they've aligned to reveal something particularly fascinating about one of the zodiac's most misunderstood signs. The stars have a warning for anyone who crosses paths with a Capricorn, especially those foolish enough to attempt manipulation. There's a reason why the symbol of Capricorn is the mountain goat, steadily climbing upward despite all obstacles. This isn't just about determination. It's about a patient, calculating nature that sees the entire mountain path while others can only focus on the next step. Imagine this scenario. You've decided to play mind games with a Capricorn. Perhaps you thought their practical, sometimes reserved demeanor meant they wouldn't notice your subtle manipulations. Maybe you believed their focus on work and achievement would distract them from your attempts to bend situations to your advantage. This misconception is where your troubles begin. What most people fail to understand about Capricorns is that beneath their composed exterior lies an intricate mind constantly analyzing patterns, behaviors, and inconsistencies. They may not react immediately, and this silence is often mistaken for obliviousness or acceptance. This couldn't be further from the truth. While you congratulate yourself on your successful manipulation, the Capricorn is quietly taking notes, connecting dots, and developing a comprehensive understanding of your character that goes deeper than you might be comfortable with. The zodiac wheel positions Capricorn at the peak of winter, a time that demands survival skills, resource management, and strategic thinking. These traits aren't coincidental. They're embedded in the Capricorn psyche. When you attempt to manipulate a Capricorn, you're not just dealing with an individual, but with centuries of celestial influence that has crafted one of the most formidable opponents in the zodiac realm. Consider the ruling planet of Capricorn, Saturn, the taskmaster of the cosmos. Saturn doesn't rush. It takes 29 years to complete its orbit around the sun. This planetary influence grants Capricorns an almost supernatural patience. They don't need immediate vindication or resolution. They can wait months, years, or even decades for the right moment to address your betrayal. By the time you realize what's happening, the foundations you thought were solid will have already been methodically dismantled. The earth element that grounds Capricorn gives them something else you should fear: permanence. Water signs might eventually evaporate their grudges. Air signs might intellectualize betrayal. Fire signs burn hot but quick. But Earth? Earth remembers. Earth holds. Earth preserves evidence like geological layers, creating a permanent record of every transgression. Think carefully about what it means to betray someone who never truly forgets and has the patience to wait for perfect timing. The Capricorn you manipulated today isn't planning an immediate response. They're calculating the most effective one. They're not just thinking about how to address your current betrayal, but how to ensure you understand, on a fundamental level, why your approach was fundamentally flawed. This isn't about revenge in the traditional sense. Capricorns aren't typically interested in petty vengeance. What they seek is something far more profound: justice, balance, and a restoration of natural order. They believe in cosmic karma, but unlike more passive signs, they don't mind being the instrument through which that karma manifests. If you've recently manipulated a Capricorn, you might find comfort in their seeming lack of reaction. Perhaps you're even scrolling through this video, smiling to yourself, thinking that your Capricorn is different, more forgiving, less strategic, somehow exempt from these cosmic traits. Before you close this video with that false sense of security, let me share with you the 12 specific reasons why this confidence is misplaced and why the consequences of manipulating a Capricorn are already in motion, whether you've noticed them yet or not. The first 3 reasons why manipulating a Capricorn will ultimately lead to your undoing reveal the essence of what makes them such formidable opponents when crossed. These reasons are deeply intertwined with Capricorn's natural inclination towards strategic patience, a trait that makes them perhaps the most dangerous sign to betray in the entire zodiac. The first reason lies in the Capricorn's extraordinary memory, not just any memory, but one specifically attuned to betrayal and manipulation. Unlike the fleeting recollections of more impulsive signs, A Capricorn's memory functions like an ancient library where every detail of your transgression becomes catalogued with meticulous precision. Think of it as a cosmic filing system where nothing ever gets deleted or misplaced. The exact words you used when you lied to them, the specific date when you attempted to manipulate a situation to your advantage, the precise expression on your face when you thought they believed you, the subtle inconsistencies in your story that you assumed went unnoticed. What makes this memory particularly dangerous isn't just its accuracy, but its permanence. While you may have moved on, possibly even forgotten the manipulation you employed, the Capricorn has preserved this information in pristine condition. This isn't an emotional reaction, it's a practical one. Capricorns understand that patterns reveal character, and they're compiling a comprehensive dossier on yours. They don't need to refer to notes or reminders. These betrayals become integrated into their understanding of who you fundamentally are. Even more unsettling is that this memory isn't clouded by emotion. A Capricorn can recall your manipulation with clinical detachment, which allows them to analyze it from multiple angles, understanding not just what you did, but why you did it, how you executed it, and most importantly, how it reveals your weaknesses and vulnerabilities. This perfect recall doesn't fade with time. In fact, time often brings clarity, allowing them to connect your past manipulation with new information, creating an even more complete picture of your character. The second reason that makes Capricorns so dangerous to manipulate is their mastery of the long game. While most signs operate within relatively short time frames when it comes to interpersonal dynamics, Capricorns naturally think in terms of years and decades. This isn't a conscious choice. It's woven into their cosmic DNA. Their ruling planet Saturn completes its orbit in approximately 29 years, a time frame that subconsciously influences how Capricorns perceive the passage of time and the unfolding of consequences. When you believe you've successfully manipulated a Capricorn, what's actually happening is that you've been allowed to believe that your manipulation worked. This isn't because they're oblivious. It's because they're already mapping out a complex web of future interactions where your current victory becomes merely one move in a much larger cosmic chess match. While you're playing checkers, focusing on immediate gains, they're playing chess, seeing 10 moves ahead. This long game mentality means they don't need to address your manipulation immediately. They understand something that more reactive signs don't. True consequences are more effective when they unfold naturally at the perfect moment, when the lesson will be most profoundly felt. They're not rushing to expose you or confront you because they're positioning pieces on the board, creating circumstances where you'll eventually face the natural consequences of your actions, often in ways that seem completely disconnected from them. Perhaps most disconcerting is how they can maintain normal relations with you throughout this process. You might be having lunch with a Capricorn, sharing jokes, even receiving their help with projects, completely unaware that behind their composed exterior, they're patiently waiting for the cosmic tumblers to click into place. This isn't done with malice. It's simply their natural approach to restoring balance in relationships and ensuring that manipulative behavior isn't rewarded. The third reason manipulating a Capricorn leads to inevitable consequences lies in their calculated approach to retribution. Unlike fire signs who might respond with immediate, passionate outbursts, or water signs who might react with emotional intensity, Capricorns approach consequences with the same methodical precision they apply to their professional goals. This isn't revenge in the traditional sense. It's more akin to a carefully calibrated response designed to create maximum understanding. Capricorns instinctively know that timing is everything. They wait for the precise moment when your vulnerability is at its peak, not because they wish to cause pain, but because that's when the lesson will be most effectively absorbed. Perhaps it's when you need their specific expertise on a crucial project. Maybe it's when your social capital is already depleted due to other circumstances, or possibly when you're seeking allies for an important venture. The Capricorn has been observing, noting when their response will have optimal impact. What makes this calculated approach particularly effective is its proportionality. Capricorns rarely overreact. The consequences they allow to unfold typically mirror the severity of your manipulation with almost mathematical precision. They don't seek to destroy you completely for a minor manipulation. That would be inefficient and unnecessary. Instead, they create or allow circumstances that specifically address the nature of your betrayal, often in ways that reveal your tactics to others without the Capricorn having to explicitly expose you. This measured response comes from a place of cosmic justice rather than emotional vengeance. Capricorns believe in natural consequences and see themselves as merely facilitating what the universe would eventually deliver anyway. There's an almost comic quality to how they approach retribution. They're simply accelerating the natural order, ensuring that manipulative actions don't create imbalance in their carefully structured world. What truly distinguishes the Capricorn's approach to consequences is its educational component. They don't just want you to suffer, they want you to understand. Each consequence is designed not merely as punishment, but as illumination, a cosmic spotlight, highlighting the direct connection between your manipulative actions and the situation you now find yourself in. It's this quality that makes their response so effective and often transformative. Many who have experienced a Capricorn's calculated response report not just regretting their manipulation, but gaining profound insights into their own behavioral patterns. As we explore these first three reasons, their elephant-like memory, their mastery of the long game, and their calculated approach to consequences, a clear pattern emerges. The Capricorn doesn't just react to manipulation, they respond to it with a strategic patience that few other signs possess. This patience isn't passive, it's profoundly active, constantly assessing, adjusting, and waiting for perfect alignment. For those who have attempted to manipulate a Capricorn and are currently enjoying what seems like successful deception, this cosmic warning arrives just in time. The wheels are already in motion. The Capricorn hasn't forgotten, they're simply waiting. And when the consequences arrive, they won't feel random or unexpected to the Capricorn. They'll feel inevitable, the natural culmination of a process set in motion the moment you chose manipulation over honesty. But the patient predator aspects of Capricorn's nature are just the beginning. As we continue our cosmic exploration of why manipulating a Capricorn leads to inevitable consequences, we move from their internal world of patient strategy to the external realm, where their social and professional connections become powerful instruments of justice. The fourth, fifth, and sixth reasons reveal how Capricorns leverage their networks with the same precision they apply to their long-term planning. The fourth reason why manipulating a Capricorn is cosmically unwise lies in their nature as network powerhouses. Unlike more solitary signs that may have intense but limited connections, Capricorns methodically build extensive relationship webs across every domain of life. These networks aren't constructed haphazardly or for mere social convenience. They are cultivated with the same strategic care that Capricorns apply to their career advancement, financial planning, and personal growth. What makes these networks particularly formidable is their quality and diversity. A typical Capricorn maintains connections with influential figures across multiple industries, social circles, and power structures. They have the rare ability to move comfortably between different worlds, from corporate boardrooms to creative studios, from academic institutions to entrepreneurial ventures. Each relationship is nurtured with authenticity and reciprocity, creating bonds based on mutual respect and demonstrated value rather than fleeting charm or superficial interactions. When you manipulate a Capricorn, you're not just betraying an individual, you're placing yourself in opposition to an entire ecosystem of relationships that the Capricorn has carefully cultivated over decades. The consequences of this opposition rarely manifest as direct confrontation. Instead, you might notice subtle shifts in your professional landscape. Opportunities that once seemed promising mysteriously evaporate, introductions to key figures never materialize, or your proposals face unexpected resistance from seemingly unrelated parties. What makes this network effect particularly potent is that the Capricorn rarely needs to explicitly warn others about you. Their reputation for discernment and judicious character assessment means that when they subtly distance themselves from you, Others notice and naturally follow suit. They don't need to campaign against you. Their withdrawal of endorsement speaks volumes to those who value their opinion. Like planets realigning their orbits in response to a gravitational shift, their network naturally reorganizes to exclude disruptive elements without dramatic declarations or public denouncements. The fifth reason that makes Capricorns dangerous to manipulate is their nature as relentless truth seekers. When a Capricorn senses manipulation, they don't merely react to the immediate deception. They embark on a methodical investigation that would impress the most thorough detective. This isn't an emotional quest driven by hurt feelings. It's a practical process of understanding the full dimensions of the betrayal and its implications. What distinguishes the Capricorn's investigative approach is its thoroughness and patience. They gather information from multiple sources, cross-reference accounts, observe patterns over time, and construct a comprehensive understanding of not just what happened, but why it happened and what it reveals about deeper character issues. During this process, they maintain a facade of normalcy that can be unnerving in retrospect, continuing interactions with you while simultaneously uncovering layers of your deception. The discoveries made during this investigation often extend beyond the original manipulation, revealing patterns you weren't even aware of yourself. Capricorns have an uncanny ability to connect seemingly unrelated behaviors and incidents into coherent narratives that expose underlying motivations and tendencies. They might uncover manipulative tactics you've used with others, inconsistencies in stories you've told across different social circles, or patterns of behavior that reveal fundamental character flaws. What makes this truth-seeking particularly consequential is that Capricorns don't rush to share their findings impulsively. They compile and preserve evidence meticulously, revealing it strategically only when necessary to protect others or to ensure that your manipulation is properly contextualized. When they do share this information, it carries the weight of thorough documentation rather than emotional accusation. They don't need to embellish or exaggerate. The unvarnished truth presented at the right moment to the right people is far more damaging than any vengeful distortion could be. The sixth reason that makes manipulating a Capricorn a cosmic miscalculation is their nature as silent boundary enforcers. Unlike more expressive signs that might confront betrayal with dramatic declarations or emotional ultimatums, Capricorns implement boundaries with a quiet efficiency that can be startling in its completeness. One day, you have access to their inner world, resources, and support. The next, you find yourself on the outside of an invisible but impenetrable barrier, often without any explicit explanation of what changed. This boundary enforcement isn't accompanied by the drama or closure that other signs might provide. There's rarely a confrontational final conversation where grievances are aired and relationships officially terminated. Instead, Capricorns simply recalibrate the parameters of your relationship with surgical precision, adjusting their investment, availability, and openness to reflect the new understanding of your character. This recalibration might be so subtle initially that you don't recognize it's happening until you suddenly realize you've been effectively excommunicated from their inner circle. What makes this silent boundary enforcement particularly effective is its consistency and permanence. Once a Capricorn has reassessed your position in their life, this new arrangement tends to be non-negotiable. They don't waver based on emotional fluctuations, temporary needs, or social pressure. The boundaries they establish after betrayal aren't punitive measures designed to teach you a lesson before eventual forgiveness. They're permanent structural adjustments to their life that acknowledge the reality of who you've shown yourself to be. This recalibration extends beyond their direct relationship with you to influence how you're positioned within their broader network. Without dramatic announcements or explicit warnings to others, they quietly restructure access routes, information flows, and opportunity pathways to exclude you from areas they consider vulnerable to your manipulation. Your reputation undergoes a subtle but profound transformation as their network absorbs and reflects their reassessment of your character. The combination of these three aspects, their extensive networks, relentless truth-seeking, and silent boundary enforcement, creates a particularly effective response to manipulation that doesn't rely on confrontation or direct retaliation. It's a response that works through social and professional ecosystems, gradually altering your position and possibilities without ever engaging in the drama of direct conflict. What makes this approach uniquely Capricornian is its practicality and efficiency. They don't waste emotional energy on vindictive plots or public exposure unless absolutely necessary. Instead, they simply reorganize their world to minimize your impact and influence, not out of spite, but out of a pragmatic recognition that someone who has demonstrated manipulative tendencies represents a liability to their carefully constructed life and to those they care about. For those who have manipulated a Capricorn and wonder why certain doors have quietly closed, why information flows have mysteriously dried up, or why their social capital has gradually diminished in specific circles, this cosmic revelation might provide the missing explanation. The consequences you're experiencing aren't random misfortunes or coincidental setbacks. They're the natural result of a Capricorn's network-based response to betrayal, unfolding with the same patient inevitability as the changing seasons. As we transition to exploring the 7th, 8th, and 9th reasons that make manipulating a Capricorn so consequential, we'll discover how their emotional architecture responds to betrayal, creating fortress-like defenses that permanently alter the landscape of your relationship. Moving deeper into our astrological exploration of Capricorn's response to manipulation, we now arrive at the 7th, 8th, and 9th reasons that make betraying this Earth sign a profound cosmic miscalculation. While our previous insights revealed how Capricorns externally respond through their networks, we now turn inward to understand the emotional architecture they construct in response to betrayal, a fortress so impenetrable that many have likened it to scaling the very mountain that symbolizes this formidable sign. The 7th reason manipulating a Capricorn leads to lasting consequences lies in their nature as emotional fortress builders. Unlike water signs who might process betrayal through visible emotional currents, or fire signs whose reactions burn bright and eventually diminish, Capricorns respond to manipulation by constructing elaborate internal defenses designed for permanence. This fortress building isn't a temporary reaction, but a fundamental restructuring of their emotional landscape where you're concerned. What makes these emotional fortresses particularly significant is their architectural complexity. Capricorns don't merely build simple walls of anger or resentment. They create sophisticated systems of emotional distance with multiple layers of protection. The outer layers might allow for continued civil interaction, professional collaboration, mutual social circles, even casual conversation, while the inner chambers that once held trust, vulnerability, and genuine connection become permanently sealed against your entry. This fortress construction happens methodically, often invisibly, as the Capricorn processes your betrayal. While you might notice a subtle cooling in their demeanor or a slight increase in formality, you won't witness the elaborate internal restructuring taking place. They are simultaneously interacting with you and redesigning their emotional relationship to you, creating new pathways that allow for necessary engagement while eliminating routes to their authentic self. The most consequential aspect of this fortress building is its permanence. Capricorns invest in emotional infrastructure built to last, while other signs might construct temporary barriers that dissolve with time, apologies, or changed circumstances. Capricorns build with the stone of Saturn, durable, weighty, and designed to withstand the erosion of time. The trust you've broken isn't simply damaged, it's fundamentally transformed into something else entirely, with the original pathways of connection often permanently destroyed rather than merely blocked. Those who have experienced this fortress building describe it as an unsettling realization that something irreplaceable has been lost. The Capricorn might still be physically present in your life, but the person you once knew, the one who offered unwavering support, who shared their authentic thoughts, who stood beside you with loyalty that seemed unshakable, has retreated behind walls you cannot breach. What remains is a carefully constructed facade that manages your relationship with measured distance and calculated engagement. The eighth reason that makes manipulating a Capricorn particularly consequential is their capacity for calculated detachment, an ability to emotionally disconnect from relationships with surgical precision while maintaining perfect functionality. This isn't the dramatic cutting off that fire signs might employ, or the emotional withdrawal that water signs might exhibit. It's a more profound and unsettling recalibration, where the emotional investment simply ceases while practical engagement continues uninterrupted. What makes this detachment so remarkable is how completely it can transform your experience of the Capricorn. The same person who once offered depth, warmth, and authentic connection can shift into a mode of interaction that feels eerily hollow, maintaining all the external forms of relationship while internally divesting from any genuine emotional stake in your well-being or connection. This transition often happens with such subtlety that you may not immediately recognize the profound change that has occurred. The psychological impact of this detachment can be particularly disorienting because of its selectivity. The Capricorn doesn't become generally cold or distant. They become specifically detached from you. You might observe them continuing to engage deeply with others, offering the same authentic connection and support that you once received, while your interactions have become strangely mechanical. This targeted nature makes it clear that the change isn't a general shift in their personality, but a specific response to your actions. What distinguishes this calculated detachment from similar reactions in other signs is its completeness and sustainability. Capricorns don't partially detach or temporarily withdraw. They methodically disconnect the emotional circuitry that once linked them to you, redirecting that energy toward more worthy investments. This isn't an emotional stance they struggle to maintain or that fluctuates with circumstance. It's a fundamental recalibration that becomes their new normal where you're concerned, often permanent in nature. The ninth reason that makes manipulating a Capricorn a profound error in judgment lies in their respect-driven relationship model. Unlike signs that might prioritize emotional intensity, intellectual stimulation, or shared adventures, Capricorns build relationships on a foundation of demonstrated integrity and mutual respect. This foundation isn't one element among many. It's the essential bedrock without which nothing else can stand. What makes this respect-driven approach particularly consequential when betrayed is how it fundamentally redefines your identity in the Capricorn's worldview. Before your manipulation, you occupied a specific position in their carefully ordered understanding of their social world, perhaps as a trusted advisor, a reliable ally, or an authentic friend. After discovering your manipulation, you don't simply lose status or temporarily fall from grace. You become recategorized as something fundamentally different, someone who has demonstrated they operate from principles incompatible with the Capricorn's core values. This recategorization isn't a punishment, but a practical reassessment based on demonstrated evidence. Capricorns operate from a deeply pragmatic understanding that people reveal their character through actions rather than words or intentions. Your manipulation provides concrete data about who you fundamentally are, and the Capricorn adjusts their relationship to you accordingly. This isn't an emotional reaction, but a logical response to new information about your character. The most profound aspect of this respect-driven model is how completely it transforms the Capricorn's perception of your past interactions. Once they discover manipulation, they don't simply question the specific instance. They retrospectively re-examine your entire history together through this new lens. Moments you shared that seemed meaningful are re-evaluated. Your motivations in past situations are reconsidered, and the authentic nature of your entire connection is called into question. This retrospective analysis often reveals patterns you didn't realize were visible, connecting dots across years of interaction to form a cohesive picture of character that becomes impossible to dismiss as a one-time lapse in judgment. Together, these three aspects, fortress building, calculated detachment, and respect-driven recategorization, create an emotional response to manipulation that fundamentally alters the relationship landscape between you and the Capricorn. What makes this alteration particularly consequential isn't its intensity, but its permanence and comprehensiveness. The change doesn't happen in a single dimension, but transforms every aspect of how the Capricorn relates to you: practical, emotional, and conceptual. For those who have manipulated a Capricorn and sensed an inexplicable shift in the relationship, these insights might illuminate the transformation you're experiencing. The person hasn't changed. Their understanding of who you are has changed, and with it, the entire foundation of your connection. This isn't a temporary emotional reaction that will eventually subside, but a fundamental restructuring of relationship architecture based on the Capricorn's uncompromising commitment to integrity and respect. As we reach the culmination of our astrological journey through the consequences of manipulating a Capricorn, we arrive at the 10th, 11th, and 12th reasons that complete our cosmic warning. These final insights reveal perhaps the most profound truth about Capricorns: their ultimate transcendence beyond betrayal through self-sufficiency, patience, and a deep connection to universal justice. While the previous reasons showed how they respond to manipulation, these final three reveal why they inevitably emerge stronger, often leaving manipulators astonished at their own growing irrelevance. The 10th reason that makes manipulating a Capricorn a cosmic miscalculation lies in their mastery of self-sufficiency, an ability to create independent systems of support, resources, and fulfillment that renders manipulators ultimately powerless. Unlike more interdependent signs that might remain vulnerable through emotional or practical connections, Capricorns instinctively build redundancies into every aspect of their lives, ensuring that no single person becomes indispensable to their well-being or success. What makes this self-sufficiency particularly formidable is its comprehensive nature. Capricorns don't merely develop practical independence. They cultivate emotional, intellectual, and spiritual self-reliance that allows them to function at full capacity, regardless of who remains in or exits their lives. This isn't a defensive posture developed in response to betrayal. It's a natural expression of their Saturn-ruled character that becomes especially evident when relationships are compromised. When manipulation attempts to create leverage through dependency, Capricorns respond by accelerating their already natural tendency toward autonomous functioning. Resources that were once shared become independently secured. Skills that were complementary become personally developed. Emotional support previously sought from the relationship becomes sourced from more reliable connections or internal reserves. This transition doesn't happen in dramatic declarations of independence, but through methodical reconstruction of support systems that quietly eliminate vulnerabilities. The most consequential aspect of this self-sufficiency is how completely it can neutralize a manipulator's influence. Many who attempt to manipulate Capricorns do so believing they possess something the Capricorn needs: specific knowledge, social connections, emotional validation, or practical resources. The shocking reality they eventually confront is how thoroughly the Capricorn can regenerate these elements from alternative sources, often at a quality that surpasses what was previously provided. This realization frequently comes too late, after the manipulator has already revealed their true character and lost their position of influence. Those who have witnessed this self-sufficient response describe it as watching someone rebuild an entire ecosystem around themselves with remarkable efficiency. Where once you might have occupied a central role in the Capricorn's life as a key advisor, emotional support, or practical ally, you suddenly find yourself rendered optional, then peripheral, and ultimately unnecessary. This transition happens not through angry rejection, but through calm replacement, as the Capricorn simply develops alternative systems that fulfill the same functions you once provided, often with greater reliability and authenticity. The 11th reason that makes manipulating a Capricorn particularly consequential is their patience beyond normal comprehension, a capacity to wait for optimal resolution that extends far beyond the time frames most people consider possible in interpersonal dynamics. This isn't simply the strategic patience we explored earlier. It's a more profound relationship with time itself that allows Capricorns to operate on timescales that most would find impossible to maintain. What makes this patience so remarkable is its sustainability. while other signs might maintain focus on betrayal for weeks or months before emotional fatigue sets in. Capricorns can maintain awareness of unresolved situations for years or even decades without any degradation in their clarity or commitment to eventual resolution. This isn't an obsessive fixation but a calm acknowledgement of cosmic timing, an understanding that some consequences must unfold according to their own natural rhythm rather than being forced into artificial timelines. The psychological impact of this patience can be particularly unsettling for manipulators who operate with shorter attention spans. They may believe that enough time has passed for the manipulation to be forgotten or forgiven, only to discover that for the Capricorn, the situation remains as present and relevant as when it first occurred. There's no statute of limitations on betrayal in the Capricorn's cosmic understanding, only appropriate moments for each phase of natural consequences to manifest. What distinguishes this patience from simple grudge holding is its purposeful nature. Capricorns don't wait out of emotional inability to move forward. They wait because they understand that certain revelations and resolutions can only happen when all necessary elements have aligned. Their patience isn't fueled by resentment, but by a deep trust in cosmic timing, a belief that universal forces work with greater wisdom than human impatience can comprehend. This patience often culminates in moments of revelation, where the manipulator's true character becomes evident to others in ways that wouldn't have been possible without the passage of significant time. The 12th and final reason that makes manipulating a Capricorn a profound cosmic error lies in their nature as karmic justice believers, individuals who maintain an unshakable faith in the universal balance of actions and consequences. Unlike more intervention-oriented signs, Capricorns often trust that manipulative behavior creates its own inevitable repercussions through natural cosmic law, without requiring their direct involvement in orchestrating specific outcomes. What makes this karmic perspective particularly powerful is how it transforms the Capricorn's relationship to your betrayal. Rather than shouldering the burden of ensuring you face consequences, they simply position themselves as witnesses to the natural unfolding of universal justice. This isn't passive resignation, but active alignment with cosmic principles, a recognition that certain fundamental laws of human interaction cannot be violated without creating corresponding effects that ultimately restore balance. The most profound aspect of this karmic perspective is the peace it brings the Capricorn, even when immediate justice isn't visible. While other signs might feel compelled to create consequences when natural ones seem delayed, Capricorns maintain remarkable equanimity in the face of apparent injustice, secure in their understanding that cosmic balancing occurs on its own timeline. This equanimity isn't indifference to wrongdoing, but a deeper trust in universal principles that transcend human time frames and limited perspectives. This karmic orientation often manifests in an unsettling ability to predict how manipulation will eventually backfire through natural consequences. Capricorns can often foresee with remarkable accuracy how specific manipulative tactics will create particular vulnerability patterns that will ultimately expose the manipulator or return the situation to balance. This isn't supernatural foresight, but a practical understanding of character patterns and natural social dynamics that allows them to recognize the seeds of future consequences in present actions. Together, these three final aspects, self-sufficiency, cosmic patience, and karmic perspective, create a response to manipulation that transcends conventional revenge or retaliation. What makes this response particularly powerful isn't its intensity, but its inevitability and completeness. The Capricorn doesn't need to actively pursue justice. They simply need to maintain their own integrity while allowing universal principles to restore balance in ways that often prove more thorough and instructive than any human-designed consequence could be. For those who have manipulated a Capricorn and wonder why their influence seems to be steadily diminishing while the Capricorn thrives, these insights might illuminate the transformation you're witnessing. What you're experiencing isn't targeted vengeance, but natural cosmic recalibration, the inevitable response of a universe that ultimately supports authentic integrity over manipulation. The Capricorn hasn't defeated you. They've simply aligned themselves with principles that inherently expose and neutralize manipulation over time. As we complete our exploration of these 12 cosmic reasons, a clear message emerges from the stars. The path of manipulation leads to inevitable consequences when directed toward a Capricorn. Not because they are vindictive or retaliatory, but because they embody fundamental cosmic principles of patience, integrity, and natural justice that ultimately ensure manipulation cannot prosper in their carefully ordered world. The wise course is clear. Approach Capricorns with the same integrity and respect they naturally offer, and you'll find not an opponent to be outmaneuvered, but an ally of unparalleled loyalty and value. Throughout our cosmic journey, exploring the 12 reasons why manipulating a Capricorn leads to profound consequences, we've unveiled the multidimensional nature of this formidable earth sign. We've seen how their patient predator aspects, their elephant-like memory, mastery of the long game, and calculated approach to consequences create a foundation for their response to betrayal that unfolds with inevitable precision. We've explored their network effect, how their extensive professional and social connections, relentless truth-seeking, and silent boundary enforcement create consequences that ripple through multiple domains of life without requiring direct confrontation. We've examined their emotional fortress, the permanent restructuring of trust, calculated detachment, and respect-driven relationship model that fundamentally alters how they relate to those who have revealed manipulative tendencies. And finally, we've discovered their ultimate transcendence through self-sufficiency, cosmic patience, and karmic perspective that ensures they not only survive betrayal, but often thrive beyond it, frequently leaving manipulators astonished at their own growing irrelevance in the Capricorn's carefully constructed world. What emerges from this astrological exploration isn't merely a warning, but a deeper understanding of Capricorn's cosmic blueprint. Their response to manipulation isn't driven by vengeance or emotional reactivity, but by a profound alignment with universal principles of integrity, authenticity, and natural consequences. They don't seek to punish, they seek to restore balance, to ensure that manipulative behavior doesn't create permanent distortions in their carefully ordered understanding of how relationships should function. For those who interact with Capricorns, the cosmic guidance is clear. Approach these mountain goats with the same integrity and respect they naturally offer, and you'll discover allies of unparalleled loyalty, wisdom, and support, the very qualities that make them formidable opponents when betrayed. Their strategic thinking, patient determination, and unwavering principles make them invaluable companions when treated with authenticity. The choice between experiencing a Capricorn as fortress or sanctuary lies entirely in how you approach the relationship. If you found these cosmic insights illuminating, whether you're a Capricorn recognizing your own patterns or someone who interacts with this fascinating sign, we invite you to continue exploring the Zodiac's hidden wisdom with us at Secret of the Zodiac. Our channel delves into the profound astrological truths that shape our interactions, relationships, and life paths, revealing the cosmic blueprints that influence each sign's approach to life's challenges and opportunities. Subscribe now to Secret of the Zodiac to ensure you never miss our daily zodiac revelations. Each day, we explore different aspects of astrological wisdom, from compatibility insights to career guidance, from understanding challenging personality traits to maximizing your sign's natural strengths. Our community of stargazers is growing, united by a shared curiosity about the cosmic forces that shape our experiences and relationships. Your engagement fuels our astrological exploration. Leave a thoughtful comment sharing your experiences with Capricorns. Perhaps you've witnessed their patient strategy in action, experienced their loyalty when treated with respect, or observed how they handled manipulation in their life. Write Saturn's justice in your comment if you've made it through this entire cosmic journey, and we'll know you're among our most dedicated zodiac explorers. If you found value in today's astrological insights, please consider supporting our work through super thanks. Your financial contribution helps cover the costs of research, production, and channel maintenance, allowing us to continue bringing you daily zodiac content of the highest quality. Every contribution, regardless of size, directly supports our ability to dive deeper into astrological wisdom and share these cosmic revelations with our growing community. Hit the like button if today's exploration resonated with your understanding of Capricorn energy or provided new insights into this fascinating sign. Your positive feedback helps our content reach more seekers of astrological wisdom across the platform. Share this video with friends who might benefit from understanding Capricorn's complex nature, whether they are Capricorns themselves or someone navigating relationships with this powerful Earth sign. Visit our channel page to explore our comprehensive zodiac series, from deep dives into each sign's hidden traits to compatibility analyses that might transform your understanding of key relationships in your life. Secret of the Zodiac offers a treasure trove of astrological wisdom waiting to illuminate your cosmic path. Remember, the stars don't control your destiny. They illuminate the paths available to you. Understanding their influence empowers you to navigate relationships with greater wisdom and compassion. Join us tomorrow for another journey through the Zodiac's secret knowledge as we continue to unveil the cosmic patterns that shape our shared human experience.